Fair warning, this video is probably going to be a little long because there's a lot of things that I want to say. I want to start by saying that I'm always honest in these videos, and I don't think I would be doing myself any justice if I didn't express the things that I needed to say today fully. To do that, I need to stress to you the importance of what's going on. Let's go back to 2009. I was in the middle of filming Where the Day Takes You. Again, pilot episode for ABC Family. Didn't go off very well. And while working on that, I had to catch the light rails. I met a young lady who worked on the light rails. She wore the yellow shirts. She says, "Hey, we're hiring. Why don't you go ahead and apply?" So I got on the bus, went down there, and I applied. And they didn't even want to give me the application. Like, they were so stuck up and uppity that they were just like, "Well, who told you to come?" And I told them, I don't remember her name now. And they're just like, "Well, we're not hiring." I was like, "Well, she told me to put in an application." And I took the time to fill it out and put it in, but I don't feel like anybody looked at it. I feel like it went straight to the circular file. No big deal. I'm going to fast forward past DSP, which, in my own admittance, was a dream job for me. I got to walk around downtown, talk to people, I dealt with the homeless. I got the help. I felt good about it. But I'm going to fast forward past that. I'm going to go to earlier this year, where I found out Regional Transit was doing some hiring. They were transitioning away from the people with the yellow shirts, and they wanted to have like security guards. So I was like, hell yeah, I can do that. That'll be great. So I went and I put in for it, and I had Asia's mom write me a letter of recommendation. So I really felt like I was going to get in. And that was in April or May. I think it was May. And I got a letter back like mid-July thanking me for my interest, but said they were going in another direction. And in retrospect, it's probably good that I didn't get it because as of April, I still had weed in my system. So if they had asked me for a drug test in May, I would have failed it. And that would have been a big black mark for them. And I probably wouldn't have gotten it anyway, even if they were interested. And now I want to fast forward to yesterday. Well, rewind now because, future. And honestly, I got this call about this job on my way back from something else, so I wasn't really paying attention. So I was like, "Hey, if you could just email me the address, I'll come and I'll check it out." And she's like, "Okay." So she sends me the information, and I go. It's like statistically somebody was going to have to hire me. So I get the directions, and it feels a little familiar, but not really. My mind's still swirling about everything else that happened. You check out that video yesterday where I lost my paperwork and I was real upset. So I get there, and when I walk in, I say, "This is the same place that I came in 2009. But it's a security company, sometimes they, contract out to a couple of people. It's like, okay, security gig it is. Again, look at me, dude. I'm 5'8.5", 5'9", depending on the boots. I'm 275 to 80 pounds. I'm built for security. So it's like, I'm ready to go. So I'm sitting down in this interview, and honestly, the guy's asking me these cookie cutter questions like, "What's your greatest strength? What's your weakness? What would you like to improve? Tell me about a good experience you had at your last job." And I'm just like, and I'm giving him cookie cutter ass answers. The answers they always want to hear. "I'm too competitive with myself. I want to improve and grow with the company. Company man, blah, 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 blah." All the things that we say. And halfway through the interview, he just is like, "This is for Regional Transit, right?" And I had to not look surprised. So I was like, "Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, that's what I applied for, sir. Yes." So we're going through the interview, and I honestly don't feel like it's going well. Like, he's giving me the verbal cues that's like, "Okay, let's wrap this up." And I'm like, all right, man. I'm real frustrated because I took all this time to get down here and do it, and you don't know the plight that I went through to get here. So interview comes to a close and he says, "I'd like to offer you a conditional job offer." It's like, really? Okay, but again, trying not to look excited. It's like, okay, yes, sir. Pending my drug test and my background check, I'm hired. I went through all the paperwork with like the I-9s, the tax forms. I did the thing for the dependents, emergency contacts. I went through it all. They even got my uniform sizes from me. So we're all set to go. And I walk out of there feeling good. I want to take the drug test too. That's a completely different story. But I'm home now. So now I've got this, I'm 80-20 at this point. I'm like, I feel good. I'm gonna in the video it's like I'm gonna get pizza. I feel good. I know I got this. And I got on the train. I was like, maybe I shouldn't spend money. Maybe I shouldn't do that just yet. I don't want to celebrate prematurely. So I come home and I decide to look up what, anything possibly they could be looking for. The background check, I'm sure, because I just got my guard card and they do a live scan for that. So in order to do that, if anything was in my background, they would have been like, nope, sorry. So my background is clear. As far as the drugs were concerned, I was a little on the fence. So I went to a bunch of different websites trying to figure out exactly how long weed stays in your system. I'll bore you all the details. Even with the lowest possible metabolism and the highest possible dosage, I saw nothing beyond 67 days. And I was still concerned about it because, we had weed in April. And I want to say it was early June where me and Kari were really excited about getting this job at the Marriott together. And it didn't work out because of the drug test. So I was like, oh man, that's going to suck. But I've done the math. It's been over 120 days since the last time I had anything in my system. So I'm fairly confident that everything's going to work out. Now, here's the part that I need to be honest with you about. I know I went through all of that to get here. Last year, 2 years ago now, when I started working for DSP, it was my dream job. I started part-time, but I was just like, I got to make it full-time. I want to prove to the company I can do it. And I was doing it, and I felt important. And I felt accomplished, and I was tired, but I got up and I went every day because it was my job. I help people. I'm a community service guide and homeless outreach coordinator. It just sounds important. And I felt good, and the uniform came with a monicum of respect, and I appreciated it. I did. And I lost it. And I spent a lot of time feeling lost. I spent a lot of time feeling dejected and defeated. Even when I was getting my unemployment, it was like, I'm just getting money for the sake of having money. Now it's like, wasn't overly happy. Then, that ran out and we had that period of adjustment where I don't know how we're going to get by. And then I ended up doing some sort of focus group where I got a couple of bucks and eventually ended up at VF Outlet. And I was content to just scoot by in life. Like, this will be fine, And I'm the kind of person, I try not to get overly excited about things because you never know. Things might not pan out the way you expect them to. And, even though Asia's just like, oh, babe, you've got it. The background's good. The drug test is good. They liked you. You can do this. This is for you. And I was like, won't be satisfied until I'm actually at orientation, until I'm actually at work. But I don't want to do a disservice to myself. Let me be very clear on this. Right now, I'm at like 90% confident that everything's going to work out. 10%, there's still that room for doubt, that room for error. But I'm confident that all of this is going to work out. So let me stress for the record, if something were to go wrong, if that 10%, if that lingering bit of doubt, actually does come into effect and something goes wrong, I was prepared to be like, well, on to the next, like it was no big deal. Let me tell you now, it would be a big deal. This job represents to me what DSP used to represent to me. This is a job where there's a uniform and I get to help people and I'm out in the general public and I get to talk and it pays well and there are benefits and I'm respected. The uniform comes with respect and it's just, this would be a big deal for me. Honestly, I said DSP was a dream job and it was, but originally I wanted to be the guy who worked the light rails in the yellow shirts. That's what I wanted to do. And now here this is. Now I find myself in this position where I wanted it and I have it. And like I said, I'm 90% there. I'm 90% on board with the plan and 10% says something could go wrong. But this represents to me starting over, doing it again. This is a dream job for me. This is the opportunity to correct the mistakes from last year. This is an opportunity to help rebuild my family. And when I say rebuild, it's like me, AJ, and Kari, we're fine. As far as extended family, like brothers-in-law, sisters-in-laws, mother-in-laws, all that, we're fine there. But when I say rebuild, I mean just from the perspective of we're not struggling anymore, where the bills come in and we don't get paranoid, where I don't have to fear going to my mailbox. I sit in the living room sometimes and something just, maybe somebody walks by or, the apartment building settles or something and there's a knock at the door, just one knock, and I go, oh, fuck, what's this? Because I just know it's somebody with some sort of letter with some bad news. I don't want to feel that way. I don't. And this job will give me the opportunity to not feel that way. So I'm 90% there that I'm going to get it. And I have to remain confident. I have to, yeah, this is mine. But at the same time, realistically, I have to be like, well, are we sure? But positive mindset, man. Positive mindset. I feel good about it. And if it doesn't work out, I still got this interview Tuesday that I plan on going to one way or the other. But let the record show this is it. Let the record show this is the one I want. I've always wanted this position, and now it's available to me. I chalked it up as a loss, like I would never get there. It would never be for me. That's why I could say DSP was my dream job, because I had given up on working for regional transit. It was like, won't happen. Then earlier this year when it came up again, I got the letter of recommendation. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. And I got shot down, and really it was just like, it's just not going to be a thing. But now I'll work for regional transit. Now it's here. They offered me the job. It's mine. It's got to pass a drug test and a background check. And I know I can do both. But there's still that lingering, it's up in the air. I don't really know. I'll be deeply, deeply disappointed if something does not go right. No, I'm not going to slip into depression and need medication or anything. But I would be deeply disappointed if something goes wrong and I don't get this job. It would hurt a lot. And I'd bounce back. I'd get something else, because that's what we do. We bounce back. We take care of things. We always have. But I would be hurt. I would be as hurt as the day they told me they had to let me go from DSP. More so. I would be hurt.